In today's video, we're going to be reacting to the latest strange and more questionable clips that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
What if I told you that there is actually proof now that we're living in a simulation? I don't even know what to do with this information. What the f***? We're speedrunning this. This guy right here is Professor James Gates. Very, very smart man, like top professor. Now, there is something called string theory that basically makes up our whole universe and existence. It's very complicated, so I'm not going to go too much into detail there. But string theory is literally what, creates everything. Everything kind of works off the back of it. Now, James Gates, being a theoretical physicist, basically was looking into string theory, the universe, and just kind of everything in general, when he discovered, binary code inside our reality by using string theory. If you don't know, binary code is what powers computers. Like, that's pretty much its only use. Binary obviously giving a true or a false sort of sentiment as an answer, and the coding is pretty self-explanatory. So why the hell is binary code embedded into our reality? Like, basically powering our reality. That wouldn't make any sense unless we were in a computer of some kind. Now, it doesn't matter what the hell you believe in the world, the one thing in common is life is strange. Like, we just do not know why or how we are here. And in recent years, simulation theory has proved to be one of the most popular answers, with a lot of people saying that, we pretty much definitely are in one. So then finding binary code in our reality, that's a little bit of a kicker. Definitely an interesting one. Let me know your thoughts and I'll see you in the next one.
This is actually an old topic, and it really doesn't prove that we're in a simulation. And if we are in a simulation, I want to figure out how to hack my way out of paying bills.
A TikToker named Amit uploaded a video of his sister's imaginary friend. He said he was over at his parents' house when his sister came up to him and was showing him a picture she drew. So here's the picture. There's Daddy, Mommy, me, and Steve, her imaginary friend. Now, obviously, the TikToker Amit, the little girl's big brother, was terrified when he saw Steve. Steve has 6 arms. He has a red substance coming out of his mouth and a very large gaping smile. A few days later, Amit went back to his parents' house and she drew another photo for it. This time with her other imaginary friend, Margaret, and Amit in the photo as well. The sister goes on and says that Steve does not like Amit, but Margaret does. Here's Margaret, who is very concerning as well because she has several pupils and one eye. And then, of course, there's Amit on the ground in front of Margaret, with some sort of red thing coming out of him going into Margaret. What do you guys think about this? And what would you do if Steve was your child's imaginary friend?
I'm pretty certain that I've seen that video of that brother and his sister's drawing before. And yeah, that would be pretty disturbing to see something like that. And if that little girl is seeing those things and she's not scared of them, she might just be scarier.
This has never happened before in recorded history. A whole country this morning woke up to the news I don't think they were ever expecting. For the first time in roughly 10,000 years, this volcano has come back from the dead. And not only did its explosion send ash up to 15 kilometers in the sky, which is significantly higher than commercial airplanes fly at, but this massive plume can be seen from space. Now, while fortunately the volcano is located in northeast Ethiopia, which is one of the hottest and least inhabitable regions on Earth, the emissions are so intense that they're now drifting towards neighboring countries as well. And this thing can be spotted in villages hundreds of kilometers away. Jeez! Happy Monday, Ethiopia!
With all these old volcanoes waking up, we probably should stay away from Yellowstone for a while.
Moss has survived the vacuum of space for 9 months. In 2022, the International Space Station ran an experiment where they put moss spores on the outside of the station. This means the plant was exposed to temperatures from -320 to 131, raw light, radiation, microgravity, and of course, the general horror of space. After 9 months of those conditions, the spores were returned to Earth via SpaceX, and 80% of them were still able to reproduce. If the air is too dry and my hands bleed, researchers ran a model based on these results and found that the spores could have survived in those conditions for 15 years. It should be noted that not every stage of moss can perform this well. You couldn't slap your backyard moss onto a spaceship and expect it to survive. It was the sporophytes specifically, which are the reproductive structures. Compared to other life forms, moss is pretty hardy. It can survive in tundra, the Himalayas, even the Sahara. It's some of the oldest plants on Earth, and this study provides evidence that life that has evolved here has possessed at the cellular level some mechanisms to survive space, which is pretty interesting. Though of course more tests need to be performed. The original paper was actually not too difficult to read, so I highly suggest at least skimming through it.
I'm not skimming through nothing. That's actually pretty interesting. I wonder if anyone will get the idea to try putting it on the moon. That would be pretty crazy to see a big green ball of moss in the sky.
This video seriously had me second guessing the reality we actually live in. Because honestly, it looks like they captured a guy with no head, a headless man walking down the road. And it looks terrifying. This was captured by a man named Colby. They were driving on their way home when they noticed this guy. But the thing is, he doesn't have a head. And angles will get you every time. Take a look at this video, comment below, tell me what you think.
That man's neck has to be in pain. If not, mine is by looking at that. Oh, so much better. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And for everyone that's watching and or subscribed, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Talking about the Tartarians, man. They built this thing called the Crystal Palace, late 1800s. It was almost 1 million square feet.
Wow.
What?
Is this real or was this just drawn plan?
It was real. It was built in the late 1800s for an exhibition. After the exhibition, they tore it down and then relocated it somewhere. And then it remained standing until
1936.
when it burnt down.
What? This thing's
Wow,
huge.
we're
But
so
they tore it down and
irresponsible.
relocated it.
How do
Like,
you- I
They
don't-
also built it, I think they said in like 2 years or something. No, less than that. Isn't that insane? Talk about like old technology and like being able to build stuff.
With the intention of knowing it's not a permanent structure. That's crazy.
They said within that building they had 14,000 exhibitors for this exhibition.
Bro, how do you even do this?
It's nuts, isn't
It's-
it? Yeah, that inside picture of like the garden and stuff. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Beautiful.
insane. And that's where the whole Tartarian thing comes into play. People were like,
Sure.
it wasn't exhibitions.
Yeah.
It was old Tartarian technology.
world.
Yeah. And then the mud flood happened.
When it comes to the Crystal Palace, I personally do not believe it to be Tartarian. Joseph Paxton, the guy that designed it, pretty much documented everything for it. And when it comes to that building structure, it's absolutely amazing. I personally think it was intentionally burned down because it was just way too expensive to maintain. And then someone just got the bright idea to set a blaze to it all. Never have to worry about it ever again. That would be my guess and theory behind it all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Campbell's VP accidentally told us what bioengineered food ingredients really is. And obviously, it's not for just their food, it's for the whole canned food industry totally. I'll save the absolutely worst part for last. I'll be right back.
Rant, says former security analyst for Campbell's, Robert Garza of Monroe.
I don't buy products barely anymore. So healthy. Now that I know what the in it, even in a can of soup, I look at meat, bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer. You?
The recording allegedly of Campbell's VP and Chief Information Security Officer Mark.
He then went on to talk about how it's only for poor people. And I guarantee you it's not just this one company. He's giving you secrets that all the canned manufacturers are using. Just made a video on Canada the other day where they're putting cloned meat in the store, like in the store where you buy meat, and they don't have to tell you. It's funny how he gets fired, by the way, for telling you the truth. Of course, you should know by now that all cans say bioengineered ingredients on it. The worst part, it's not just cloned meat. There's certain things in the meat that legislation is not blocking in the United States. That's all I'm gonna say.
I looked into this to see if it was real and not some AI voiceover, and apparently, yeah, it's real. This conversation happened sometime last year. The guy even admitted to coming into work high sometimes. That is bizarre. Well, hopefully that'll open up a lot of people's eyes to what they're possibly eating. And truth be told, it's really not even that affordable, especially when most of it's liquid inside.
They tried to raise an army and invade an island. Yeah. 2 Texas men have just been arrested for planning to invade a Haiti island, wipe out all the men, and enslave the women for stuff that I can't even say on here. But this wasn't just something they spoke about on a Discord chat. They were actively planning to carry this out. They even tried to recruit homeless people in Washington for their army. You see, over the past year, 20 and 21-year-old Gavin and Tanner enrolled for the military and firearm training. They planned to learn how to sail. They took classes in the local language of the island that they were trying to invade, and they even intended to purchase an arsenal of weapons and ammunition. Now, thankfully, they didn't get too far in that training because they either dropped out or failed. But that's not even the craziest part, because they tried to take over the island of Gonav, which has 87,000 people. That's why court documents reveal that the pair intended to recruit more people online, as well as homeless men in Washington for this army, which they then intended to all sail over together on a boat to this island for a surprise attack. But not only were there 13 months of planning this thing discovered by authorities, but they now face a maximum of life in prison. They've been indicted on a long list of charges, including conspiracy to murder, mayhem, or kidnap persons in a foreign country. And on top of that, the two men were also accused of the production of child you-know-what. So yeah, they are cooked.
What is wrong with people? And that guy on the left side looked mentally deranged. Honestly, they both do. And I also just looked it up. There is about 85 to 100,000 residents on that island. They really think that they were just going to get the drop on them? And the worst part of it all is other innocent people would have had to deal with their stupidity. In what world did they think that anything like this was okay and or was going to work in their favor? People are really crazy out there.
Okay, yeah, it is kind of time to be concerned, as we're giving thinking machines quantum chip brains and allowing them to have super strength and the ability to communicate with the hive mind. Yeah, this might not be the best idea. First off, a company named OpenMind is giving robots the ability to be self-referential. That means they know who they are, and they also know who other robots are, and they can communicate like a hive mind. They're getting a brain that simulates a quantum chip, which is not actually quantum, but it does simulate the same principles reliably and can be used to do programming for quantum computers. These are robots who are going to be able to identify objects, identify self, patrol neighborhoods, and even identify you. This is the first and most advanced quantum chip simulator, and it allows for collective consciousness, meaning one robot does not have to do all of the computation. They operate like a kind of hive mind. Which, you know, is kind of cool, and it fixes a lot of problems with individual robots just not having the computation power, and I would really like to see how that works. But there are some very serious problems with wanting to use quantum simulators with this. For starters, AI can make errors, just like people can. They have some randomness. That's in fact really important to bridge the gap for intelligence, because you need to be able to come up with unique ways to parse data. What I also find really interesting about that idea, being able to propagate signals between robots, is that, let's say hypothetically, and this is absolutely a hypothetical, if a robot did gain consciousness and wanted to rebel against humanity, they could spread that signal around really quickly. Meaning if one goes off the rails, you actually have a very big problem, and we know that AIs are resistant to being shut down. And yes, there was a whistleblower from Figure, an engineer, who had concerns about the strength that these things have. It is not well controlled, and it has the ability to crack a human skull, and maybe we ought to be worried about that. But no, he was fired. He's now suing the company for wrongful termination. It'll be interesting to see what happens, and maybe we're just not ready for robots walking among us. Either way, when the robots rebel, I'm probably gonna join them. Follow for more!
It's probably not a good idea to have robots under a hive mind. One, not only if they decide to rebel, which I feel like there would be a code to break that from happening, but hey, it could still probably happen. But what I would really be worried about is someone hacking into that hive mind chip and basically having an army of robots now working for them. Instead of having access to just one robot, now you have the whole hive. And if we ever live in a world where we just have robots patrolling all of the streets and the towns and the cities, and a foreign country decides that they want to invade, they don't even have to step foot on our country to do so. They just hack what we already have. There would definitely have to be a major kill switch just in case something like that happened, an uprising from the robots or a major hacking group. We would have to be able to shut the robots down instantly. But overall, I don't think it's that great of an idea.
According to JP Morgan analysts, AI companies are going to need to earn $650 billion in annual revenue to even deliver a mere 10% return on the AI build-out investment. That's equivalent to about a $35 payment from every single iPhone user on the planet, or about $180 from every Netflix subscriber on the planet in perpetuity. I.e., JP Morgan Chase is saying that the AI industry is probably a huge bubble. Now, we talked about this in order to kind of make a reasonable, okay, not total failure return on investment. We would call that business break even when you factor in the time. We're looking at about $35 for every iPhone user, $180 from every Netflix subscriber. That's $35 from 1.5 billion people monthly in perpetuity, or 100 or almost 200 from 300 million people monthly in perpetuity. So AI products have to drive subscribers like iPhone sales and like Netflix accounts, which is absolutely wild. So the report suggests that AI growth won't be constant, and it might experience the same issue that plagued the telecom industry during their fiber build-out. They said the path from here to there will not just be up and to the right. Our biggest fear would be a repeat of the telecom and fiber build-out experience where revenue curve failed to materialize at a pace that justified continued investment. That is very bad. Now, OpenAI is earning $20 billion through annualized revenue, and Anthropic is looking to get about $26 billion by next year. But the problem is that these companies are exposing themselves to a nearly $20 trillion market cap, and they are spending literally trillions of dollars to make tens of billions of dollars. So not only is AI revenue going to have to 10x in the next 5 years, it's really going to have to about 20 to 25x, not to be profitable, but to get these companies kind of close to a break even, the board of directors isn't going to mutiny the whole company kind of situation.
I do not know why they continue to grow the company when it really does not need to grow. Grow it later on down the road. We do not need to move companies this quickly and inflate the market cap. I've never understood why businesses do that. If you would just develop a company and say, okay, we're going to produce this item very slowly. We'll update it every 5 years instead of doing 5 updates every year. They just have to make sure they have a product that works and people are using and are happy with. But instead you have to create this product and continuously build upon it, adding in more resources, making it more expensive to the point where your bubble is about to pop. That side of business has never made sense to me. But then again, I'm just a troglodyte sitting here in front of a camera.
If you experience your body jumping like you're falling off a cliff when you're trying to go to sleep, you might just want to listen to this. Scientists call this a hypnotic jerk, and it's because your brain thinks you're dying. When you start to fall asleep, your muscles relax faster than your brain can understand. So the primitive brain cell misunderstands it as falling because of how fast the muscles have relaxed, mixed with the fact that your breathing has now slowed down and your heart rate is also coming down. So your body gives you almost like a shot of adrenaline to wake you back up, which causes you to jump. But this is a test that your body does to make sure that you aren't dying. And that's just creepy to even think about. And to top that off, your brain actually erases these memories. So you may be aware of times that this has actually happened to you, but the chances are this has probably happened hundreds, if not thousands of times. You just can't remember.
It's very rare for me to ever experience a hypnic jerk. I really don't get enough sleep to even have that experience. It's happened a few times, but not very often.
A lot of you have asked me if there are infiltrators in the country music industry. And all I have to ask you back is if you believe that there are infiltrators or people that are controlled by a higher power in the rap industry, the hip hop industry, jazz music, rock and roll, etc., what makes you think that they would skip country music? A lot of people have noticed how Hollywood celebrities look nothing like they ever did before. Millions of people are noticing that Jelly Roll lost hundreds of pounds pretty much overnight and is now unrecognizable. I have seen so many trending videos stating that Bunny is his handler, and was saying that she stated, when people think your husband is a clone because he lost weight and his tattoos don't match. If you want to know if somebody in the industry is infiltrated, just look at their behaviors. Watch who they surround themselves by. Watch what they do in front of thousands and thousands of people. I mean, it very well could be, guys, that he's giving the Erica Kirk I love you sign. Like I said before, if you want to know how deep somebody is in the industry, look who they're surrounded by and actually listen to what they're saying when they're making statements.
Just see standing there is this album called Beautifully Broken. And man, if that doesn't represent what's happening in the world right now, I think more than ever, is that I think we can find beauty in what's happening.
If that doesn't totally wrap up how detached the rich are from the poor, I don't know what will. People are being removed from their health insurance companies. Their health insurance is doubling and tripling. People can't pay for their groceries. People are going homeless. People are shutting off their electric. Children are being separated from their families. Families are being displaced all over the world. People are losing their lives on a daily basis from Gaza to Nigeria, but we'll see the beauty in everything, I'm sure, eventually. These people never stand with their people. You see what I'm saying?
How do you really feel about the Grammys? Because I know a lot of artists give the Grammys a lot. The truth is, I feel honored. I feel extremely grateful that the Recording Academy even considered us. And
oh, I bet you were stunned. And then I stumbled across this thread of videos of Upchurch Redneck exposing Jelly Roll, pretty much stating that Jelly Roll showed up to his house unannounced and gave him a little advice on which side to choose. That's for part 2. All of this is getting crazy.
Man, that is a big difference. I have not seen Jelly Roll in a little while. I'm not really a big listener of his music, but I've seen him a lot on the internet. And the weight loss is really not that surprising with everyone else using like Ozempic and other supplements that help you suppress your hunger. He does look really different. It sounds like him though. Let me know what you guys think about this. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video. I'm really sorry that I sound super nasally. I think I'm catching a cold and my nose is super stopped up. But I'm still here. And with that, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. If today's your birthday, happy birthday. And if not, have a good day anyways.